You know, I had a realization after I was on the Piers Morgan show this week. These Trumpists expect us to do nothing and just shut up for the next 4 years. And I realized this really based on how I was treated on the Piers Morgan show earlier this week. Some of you I know saw it because you emailed me and you picked up on this dismissive attitude, the eye rolling, the ad hominem attacks, like Dave Rubin calling me a smug prick because I had the audacity to call out that he had been receiving Russian influencer money. Here's that moment, by the way.
You know, this has nothing to do with a well-funded evil money machine that the Republicans were doing. There's something called boys and girls. And
Rubin's
they are
the right
different.
guy to talk about
and
that,
most
isn't
parents, Most parents, oh God, you're such a smug prick.
You know, it's funny because it's very easy for me not to resort to insults and ad hominems, but some of these MAGAs now are visibly struggling not to resort to them. Piers Morgan opened the entire thing re-confronting me about a study on trans athletes that he misrepresented last time, and he misrepresented again. Take a look.
David Patman, I want to start with you. You were very clear to me when we spoke before the election that this whole issue of transgenders in sport and so on was completely irrelevant and nobody cared. Let me remind you, they support policies that protect transgender athletes performing in women's sport. And I think that is madness. You're saying, well, because most of these things in this UN report were outside of America, it doesn't matter. It does matter.
What I'm saying, it's a completely contrived issue that almost no one cares about in every single opinion poll.
Wow. Well, the problem is, David, you couldn't have possibly been any more wrong, because the New York Times, the liberal Bible, did a whole piece about the ad that Trump ran, which is the Kamala's for they, them, Donald Trump's for you. They said it was one of the most effective 30-second spots in political history. Do you want to admit you were completely and hopelessly wrong about this?
No, in fact, in the aftermath, we figured out how dishonest you were, Piers, during that. And hopefully we can get a little bit of an opportunity. So let me lay it out.
Of course.
First of all, I went back and looked at the UN report in more detail. The UN report said nothing of the sort that you said. What you were referring to dishonestly was one footnote from an anti-trans organization making completely unsubstantiated claims. So I will wait for the apology from you. The UN report doesn't say that, but that wasn't the crux of your question. Second part of it, that ad with Kamala, I would have loved Kamala to respond to it. All she had to say was at the time that she said that, it was Trump administration Bureau of Prisons policy that that's what's available to trans inmates when determined medically necessary. She would follow the law. You haven't said that. And then number three, Piers, on who cares about the issue, I checked Gallup survey, trans issues at the very bottom. The reality is almost no one's trans. Almost no trans people are in competitive sports. And people do not care about the issue. However, there's a lot of money made grifting about trans this and trans that, even from people on this panel. So I get why they keep bringing it up.
It's still just a footnote from an anti-trans group called the Women's Liberation Front. And then, you know, to be honest, it just goes completely off the rails. Check this out.
And David Patman, the appointments that Trump has put forward so far, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will run a new Department of Government Efficiency. I mean, having, you know, the most successful, richest and possibly smartest guy on the planet getting stuck into government bureaucracy, I would have thought that's very popular, isn't it?
You know, it's so funny. A Department for Government Efficiency, new department when Trump wants to eliminate departments, and instead of being run by one person, it's being run by two.
But they are going to eliminate, according to Musk, they're going to eliminate dozens of departments, though. So by the end of the process,
he said he's going to get rid of 300 departments.
They're going to get rid of a lot of departments, David Patman. So, I mean, that seems to me to be a good thing, doesn't it? Or do you think that they should be...
Yeah, listen, in his first term, it was not exactly promises made, promises kept. I'm going to reserve judgment to see what happens. And the reason why, and Dave, honestly, I know we're not getting along here. I do like you. I wish we were still friends. I'd love to get our kids together to play soon. Dave Rubin making predictions...
No, thanks.
is crazy because his predictions always go wrong. Red wave for Republicans in 2018 didn't happen. 30% black vote for Trump in 2020 didn't happen. Republicans get 54 Senate seats in 2022. I've got a list of 30 Rubin predictions. They're always wrong. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see.
I can see why you're looking for new friends, Pac-Man. I think Piers can attest to this. Being in the business we're in, you're going to get election predictions wrong. I have no problem admitting that. I get election predictions wrong all the time. But when it comes to getting the ideas right, I think I've had a pretty damn good track record on that. And again, you're just illustrating why nobody likes progressives. Your smug, holier-than-thou attitude, it's just disgusting to most people. You think you're the savior for people that want nothing to do with you. And frankly, for all the David Pac-Man subscribers that want to watch a show that actually is informative and funny and interesting and, dare I say, irreverent, I would tune into the Rubin Report.
So that was something, but it got me really kind of thinking about what's going on. There is something palpably new here. They're not just annoyed by us. They expect us to be silent, to vanish, to know our place and stay in our lane now that Trump and Republicans have taken the White House, the Senate, and the House. Barely, of course. And it really couldn't have been any clearer. There's just no room for debate or for challenge as far as these people are concerned. They want obedience. Trump wants obedience, pure and simple, just like he wants from his nominees and from his staff. They want us erased from the conversation. They believe that with last week's win, the ideological battle is over. We lost, they won. Now we have to go away. That's their mindset. And they're pushing this narrative that now that they've got the power, the left is supposed to just accept it quietly, pack it in, fall in line with all of their insanity. And in a sense, I understand why they feel this way. I mean, think about it. They are gearing up to dismantle everything they see as woke, from climate action to basic protections against marginalized groups or for marginalized groups and immigrants. They want to get rid of the Department of Education, and they assume we're just going to sit on our hands and let it happen. They don't want arguments. They don't want to understand anything other than we want conformity and you must comply. They want to eliminate the left from public discourse. Trump won the popular vote as of right now by less than Hillary won it in 2016. They gained 1 seat as of right now in the House of Representatives. It might end up being a little more, but right now they've taken control by gaining 1 seat, and they want to act like their movement is 98% of this country. So they're going to keep labeling any opposition or dissent as radical or Marxist or communist or un-American. They will frame the protests that I can only imagine at some point there will be. They will frame protests as chaos and whining and looting and insanity, basically the stuff they did on January 6, 2021. And they will frame themselves as the real Americans while the rest of us will be shoved to the margins. And it's funny that Rubin used the word smug. Their smug superiority and expectation that we're just going to slink away with our shoulders down, I do not believe that it's going to happen. They're banking on us being tired, and many of us are tired. They're banking on us being burnt out and ready to throw in the towel. And to be honest, it would be reasonable after seeing how they again elected a complete and total clown who is nominating a clown cabinet. They assume we will fade away and that we don't have the stamina for another round. And some people don't. I've been hearing from them. It's true. But I do not believe that big picture, what they expect to happen is going to happen. In fact, I expect that after we regroup, and we get through the last couple of months of Joe Biden's presidency and Trump comes to power with this clown car cabinet, RFK now is going to be part of it. We'll talk about that too. I expect that the left is going to be louder and more insistent and more unyielding than ever. And the irony is that they claim to be the champions of free speech, but they want to silence our speech. We should now shut up and go away. The same people who spent 4 years railing against cancel culture are now trying to cancel every voice that doesn't fit their agenda. They went bloodthirsty as soon as we had this temporary decline in subscribers, saying, hey, this is the opportunity to end left-wing media for good. They want us to shut up about the climate. Shut up about the fact that they're trying to take health insurance away from millions of people. Shut up about inequality. Shut up about democracy itself. So I do not believe we are going anywhere. Every rollback that they succeed in doing, every attack on rights, every attempt to drag us backwards into, is it 1950 or 1850 that they prefer? It's going to be met with resistance, law-abiding resistance, nonviolent resistance, of course. And we're going to keep track. And at the first opportunity, and we will get it, okay? It's sometimes patience is the best virtue. We're going to get it. I don't know if it'll be 26 or 28 or 30. It's going to happen. We will get the opportunity and we will reverse every last thing that they ruin. And if they think, calling me a smug prick on Piers Morgan or dismissing the entire audiences of progressive, independent, left-wing media, if they think that's going to get us to disappear, I believe that they are in for a rude awakening. Well, I wrote a book after a long journey and a ton of work. I am really thrilled with how it turned out, and I hope you'll read it. The book is called The Echo Machine, and in a nutshell, it looks at how American politics got so broken, who has already figured out solutions, and how we can try to fix it and stop the terror of Trump for the next 4 years. With Trump winning this election, the Echo Machine couldn't be more relevant, not only a warning about how we got here, but also about what might be coming and how to prevent the worst outcomes. We've got to stay engaged. We need a plan, and that's what the book is about. There's a belief out there that unless you have corporate media behind you, you can't have a successful political book launch, that it's not possible. I think we can prove that wrong. Order The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, anywhere that books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold. You can also call any local bookstore and say, please order me The Echo Machine by David Pakman. Wherever you get the book, you'll get the free pre-order perks, including the signed book plate. Head to davidpakman.com/free book stuff after ordering.